Hello and welcome back. My name is Matt, and I appreciate you've been waiting to see an audiologist for almost 8 weeks, I think. Let me apologize. I'm not in the habit of having my patients wait quite so long, but you're here now, and that's what's important. Now, I understand that you've been having a little bit of trouble with your hearing, a little bit of excess earwax perhaps. Okay. Sure, let me just take a note of some of the symptoms you've been experiencing. Okay. And if you had any pain associated? Just a reduction in your ability to hear. Well, our hearing is one of these senses that, much like our sight, we take for granted, and we don't notice it until our hearing is impeded some way, or our ability to hear is reduced somewhat. And as an audiologist, I specialize in restoring your hearing back to full and bringing that relaxation, that some of the peace that people can find with being able to listen, sometimes even to nothing. The sound of silence can be quite remarkable. Okay, what we'll start off by doing is having a quick look inside each of your ears, and once we've ascertained damage and how much wax we're looking at and what we're talking about, we can look at taking next steps. But it's quite routine for us to run you through a series of hearing checks. Nothing too dramatic, nothing too drastic, just some simple sounds in each of the ears. Then we can give your ears a proper clean with some solution, and I'll maybe subject you to a sound wave hearing test. We'll pop in some earphones into each of your ears, and we can run sound waves on each side at different volumes. It's quite interesting, and I think you're going to like it. Okay, now let's have a look. Worked first time in each of those ears. Okay. Now, the ear, the smallest bones inside the ear, called the ossicles. And there are 3 of these little bones. And the easiest way to remember them: the hammer, the anvil, and the stirrup. I'm just having a little look in your ear here, and there is quite a lot of more wax than I would expect to see. I expect to see something similar on the other side. Have you been attempting to clean your own ears with... Yeah, this is a common occurrence. We see people trying to administer treatment of some kind on themselves. I just need to get a little bit closer to this ear. Just having a little look inside. Now, your inner ear is only the circumference of something like an eraser or a rubber on top of a pencil. It's a very small space. And inside your inner ear, we hear through tiny little hairs on the inside of our ears. And these little hairs are really quite remarkable. They afford us the luxury of hearing. I want to make sure that these ears are protected, and that's generally the purpose of earwax. It stops infection and any of nasties getting into our inner ear and our eardrum. Okay, now I'm just going to pop back to this side because this side is blocked, essentially. This side I didn't think was quite as bad, but it's certainly, let's pop this in your ear here. Okay, this is actually, this ear isn't quite as bad. Contusion isn't quite as severe, but okay. How long have you been experiencing symptoms? Okay. No, we'll get you sorted. Don't worry. But as I said before, I need to put my gloves on. Before we can treat the symptoms, sometimes we need to understand the severity of a situation. And sometimes it can be quite difficult to ascertain from speech alone. Okay? Now, what I have here, 3 separate solutions, each with their own little dropper. Now, in each of these tubes is a solution that I'll administer to each ear. We have very, very diluted sodium hydroxide, acetyl acid, and sodium bicarbonate that have been proven time after time to really soften up the earwax and kind of let it drain out quite naturally. But before that, these actually serve 2 purposes. I'm going to take the yellow tube. You notice it has slightly more liquid than the others. And the reason for that I'm going to be dropping a small amount of solution into these little plastic cups. Now the sound this makes is really quite unique, and we've noticed that the hearing seems to resonate perfectly well, and it gives us a very clear reading indication as to how impacted your hearing actually is. So I'm going to start off at the far side, and all I'm going to be doing is dripping the solution into these cups, walking towards you. Okay? Now, once I get to the ear and stop, I'll come back to the front, and I'm going to ask you if the increase was fairly noticeable, or if it was very, very gradual, or if you heard nothing until the last few seconds. Okay? Again, I just need you to relax. You don't need to do anything. Just relax. Good. Okay. Again, you can close your eyes if you like. I just need you to focus on the sound. Okay? Now it's going to sound a little like this. Good. Now, from the side. I'm walking a little bit closer. try from the other side, and then we'll come back and we'll analyze what you heard, okay? Good. Okay. Now, you can close your eyes. I'm going to walk towards you with the same drops. And all I want you to remember is how noticeable the increase is. Okay, you can open your eyes. When I came from this side, at what point did you start to hear the drops? Okay. And when I was right up into your ear, was that entirely noticeable, or was it still quite strained? Okay. No, that's perfectly valid. And then when I came from the other side, again, how long was it before you could hear the drops? Okay. And comparatively speaking to the other side, was it about the same? It was worse. Okay. Well, that's kind of as we expected. And when I walked forward, now this is a little difficult to judge because you should be hearing with both ears. But what you find is that when one ear is more blocked than the other, or the block is more severe, you can find the other ear overcompensating, trying to pick up those little nuances. What was that experience like? Okay. Again, the bias. Okay. All right. No, that's appreciate it. It's kind of an unusual technique, but we found that the ear just picks up these little drops so perfectly. It helps us to pinpoint and to hone in on the real trouble spot. Okay? Now, the next part of the assessment, I'm going to pop in an earbud to each ear, so they're entirely sterile, completely clean. Okay, I'm just going to pop these in your ear. Can you still hear me? Good. Now, I'm just going to plug this in. Okay, now we're going to run through a series of sound waves past each of your ear. Each sound wave will be replicated on each side of the ear. I want you to tell me whether the volume was the same, different, or whether you heard no sound at all. You can keep your eyes open for this experiment if you like. All I need to note are the results. Okay? Good. So, the first sound wave. Tell me what you hear. Okay. And then the other side. Okay. No. Okay. Good. That's sound file 1. Here comes sound file 2. Okay. And then the other side. Now there may or may not be some tricks along the way. Let's bear that in mind. It's not always as straightforward. Okay, sound file number 3.
Relax, 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 relax.
Okay. And then the other side.
Relax, 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 relax.
Okay. Okay. And now number 4.
ASMR. Zeitgeist. ASMR. ASMR.
Some of these sounds are quite interesting. And the other side.
ASMR. Zeitgeist. ASMR. ASMR.
Absolutely.
Zeitgeist.
Okay. Now we're going to play sound file number 5 and just think about what you're hearing, okay? All we're trying to do, again, is get an accurate reflection of what you're really hearing. Don't strain too hard. Don't, just relax and compare, okay? Number 5.
I missed you all very much. I missed you all very much. Thanks for sticking with me. Honestly, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. Now the other side. It's a good song.
I missed you all very much. I missed you all very much. Thanks for sticking with me.
Fantastic. Okay. That isn't necessarily as conclusive or as in keeping with our prior tests as I would have expected. It could be that the earwax is a little bit looser than we thought. And even when we clench your jaw, when we do that, it can clear and, again, block to a lesser extent our ear canals again. So, by the sounds of it, we could be looking at a fairly significant blockage. And it's important to remember that earwax is natural. When our ear has too much earwax, it can actually push the earwax out itself. The only time the body really needs our support is when you have something creating more earwax than the body would normally regulate. I mean, all the body's trying to do is maintain homeostasis, maintain the clean tank. It's regulating and cleaning all the time, trying to maintain a sense of normality. Okay, your body knows what it feels like to be normal, and it's always trying to get back or as close as it can to normal. So if your ear is producing more earwax than it needs, there's almost always a cause that isn't directly related to your body, that isn't par for the course. Okay? Alright. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop 3 solutions in each ear. I'm going to wait a minute till it softens the wax. Then I'm going to take another look with my torch, and if I need to remove anything, then I certainly can. And the 3 solutions work in conjunction, that they soften the wax, and for a very short period of time, you'll feel the earwax kind of coming to the ear kind of canal, to the entrance of the ear, and it will actually start to harden a little bit, and I can remove it in one solid ball, basically. Just a small pair of tweezers. It's quite ingenious, and it's work of my own design. Okay. Okay. How are you feeling? We're not throwing too much at you once. Good. You've been spectacular so far. You don't have much longer to go. Okay. Now again, I'm just going to pop a few drops of each solution in each ear. It's going to go yellow, blue, red. Okay? Hold still. There we go. Just a few drops. I'll just pop in a little cotton bud here to keep your ear plugged. And again to the other side. Good. Pop in the earbud. Okay. Now the blue solution. Yes, this does match my shirt and my eyes. Very observant. Clearly your eyes do not need testing. Let's pop out this ear bud. There we go. And a few drops of this. Good. Cotton bud goes back in. On the other side. Good. Cotton bud. Fantastic. Now the final solution. The red. Now this will solidify and allow for very easy extraction. It's only melting a small portion of your earwax. It's not going to remove your earwax entirely. I said some is healthy. You want some protection for your ear. Okay. Now, comes the earbud. There we go. Good. Now we'll leave the cotton bud out this time. Okay, and now this here. Fantastic. Now, we're just going to give it a little minute for the liquids to do their work. And once the final liquid is completed, I said we should be left with a little solid mass of earwax that I can just roll out of the way and have a look into your ear. Okay? This doesn't take long. Good. And just face forward, please. Take a look in the ear. Okay. I can always see on the other side. Okay, that's an exaggeration. But that looks much cleaner. Much, much cleaner. Now the other ear actually looked a little bit angry. A little bit of inflammation. So we're going to see if removing some of the earwax has removed some of that inflammation. But this ear looking much, much healthier. We'll get that little ball of wax taken away from you very shortly. Okay, there we go. Now, okay, just relax here. Oh, that's good. Your ear. I think it's paying dividends already. I don't know if you can hear any easier or hear any clearer. Clear. But at least visually, it looks much improved. Okay? I'm just going to grab some tweezers and we'll get rid of those little remainders of earwax. Sterilize the tweezers and then we'll move forward. Good. Now obviously our tweezers are fresh out of the pack for every patient, but we like to pre-sterilize. Now just relax. I'm just going to move around and pop out this little ball. There we go. Hopefully that's a bit clearer. Now the other side. There we go. Come out in one. Perfect. Much, much better. Now, easier. Do you feel like you have your full sense of sound back? I am very, very, very glad to be of service. How are you feeling? Good. I can tell by the smile from your face. A little look of relaxation in your eye. This is exactly why I do this job. It really has and will always be my pleasure. Okay? Now, I will say, and I feel like I find myself saying this to every patient I see, but please do take care of your ears. We are entirely dependent on them. We take for granted sound and our ability to interpret it and the emotional connection we have with sound. Just think how music can make you feel, how ASMR can make you feel. Preserve your ears, care for them, and have them serviced regularly by folks like myself. Okay, my name is Matt, and this really has been my absolute pleasure. Good night.